All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Every time I do the intro, I always got to remember where I'm at because I got Patreon, I got YouTube, Eyes Open Media, of course, as well. Currency 365. So there's a lot of outlets, so I have to remember where I'm at, but and where the video's going as well. I'm pretty sure some of you guys are probably like, man, he's probably put some videos in the wrong spots before. Yeah, I have. But anyways, welcome to Eyes Open Media. Prophet John here, and we're just going to be talking quickly about the markets. This is going to be a quick video. The markets are set to open massively. Okay. So I just bought. Did I? Yeah, I bought a position in one of the four stocks this morning, and I also bought a position in Zion Oil and Gas here in pre-market. So, yeah, I mean, well, I guess we'll see how it all plays out. The oil future contracts, the June oil future contracts expire tomorrow. So this is going to be interesting because this literally is how it started last month contracts were expiring. It literally started out the same way. We had the markets were up nicely, the crude oil was up nicely, and then all of a sudden when the afternoon hit, everything started to tank. So the crude oil started to go negative, right? And the markets went negative, and then at the end we started to see a nice little rally into close with oil and the markets, and the markets were able to close up like I think the markets were up like maybe 100 to 200 points, whatever, even with the negative oil. And then you know what I mean. So it was just really weird, and we might be setting ourselves up for the same exact thing here. I don't know. The oil contracts expire tomorrow. The Dow is up 760 points right now because the Feds are promising that they have unlimited amount of money to spend, which we know that is the destruction of America. When the Federal Reserve says we have unlimited amount of money to print, well, that doesn't mean that that's good for us. That means that a massive amount of debt that we can't pay back is coming to America, and that's going to bring hyperinflation. Okay, and the Fed's also hinting that hyperinflation is coming. Negative interest rates are not coming yet, but they probably will be coming in the future, in the very near future, where you put money into the bank account and they actually take your money from you. You have to pay to have your money in your account, basically. So that's going to move a lot of people into gold and silver, and that's why we're going to see the rise of gold and silver. God's going to rise his money. Okay. I don't know about cryptocurrencies. I'm not sure. Cryptos. The reason why we don't know about cryptos is because the cabal don't want cryptos, especially Bitcoin, to thrive. So, they can easily manipulate Bitcoin because it doesn't have that big of a value. I mean, the whole entire cryptocurrency's value is like $250 billion. I mean, the Feds can print that in one day, so they can control the price of cryptocurrencies moving forward and never allow it to run ever again. So we have to understand that, right? That doesn't mean that in the meantime we won't see some altcoins like Redcoin and what do you call it, Redcoin and Electronium and Tether and Kyber Network and other coins like that make big moves, right? That could still happen, but those are little coins compared to Bitcoin, right? So and we know that in the quantum financial system that they're trying to bring out, that they're going to adopt Litecoin and Ethereum for that system and not Bitcoin. So I don't know what the future holds for Bitcoin long term. A lot of the prophetic people have saw Bitcoin go to zero or go to pennies, including Prophet of Solomon and Prophet of Shirley and others. So and other what was he? There was Prophetess Kelly, Turner, and so many other people. They don't even know each like most of these people that are calling this stuff don't even know each other, except for Prophet of Shirley and Prophet of Solomon. But they didn't even speak about it. So people are seeing that Bitcoin is going to go to zero or go to pennies in the future, and God is telling them to stay away from Bitcoin, but not stay away from Litecoin or Ethereum or other coins like that. So I don't know, because I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't seen Bitcoin. I haven't had a dream of Bitcoin going to zero or anything like that. But I know that the cabal do not like it. Donald Trump doesn't like it. Donald Trump would love to see Bitcoin go to pennies and maybe lift something else up. Or maybe the Fed would love to bring out a Fed coin instead, right? I'm surprised the Fed haven't done that. Regulations and then bring out a Fed coin and say you must use the Fed coin instead of Bitcoin, right? And we might see other countries do something like that in the near future where they create a coin and say you can no longer use Bitcoin. It's illegal to use Bitcoin. You must use our coin, right? That can be something that governments around the world do, okay? Doesn't mean that they're going to stop you from using Litecoin or Ethereum and things like that, but they could go after Bitcoin. Okay, so just be careful of that. But this is literally what happened the last time we had negative oil prices. So I was like, you know what? Let me make a video here because I didn't make a video last time, I don't believe. And so of the last, oil futures expiration, but we were literally up around this same price, around 8 to 10%. It was a great day. It was a good start of the markets, and then by the afternoon, things just started to go downhill and downhill fast, and there was no, because once the contracts are expiring around the world, right, the oil contract, the futures contract, there was no place to put the barrels of oil. People had no place to put the barrels of oil, and so they were literally having to sell it for, just give it away at negative prices. Here, I'll pay you to take it off my hand, because there was no place to put the barrels of oil. We'll see if that happens again this time. I don't know. That's we will watch and see. Okay, that's why I'm making this video, to see. Let's watch and see how it plays out. Okay, and let's see what happens with the Dow as well. It's up, 760 points. I believe that, in my opinion, I think that's way too high. I think it exploded up too high, and this is a good place to short. But whatever. It might even continue higher, right? But I think markets are up 760. I think we see a nice fall into the afternoon, and then we see a nice little bump at the end. So maybe we fall. Maybe we fall to. Let me actually click on it. Let's see if it actually goes to the chart. Let's see. I'm on it. Okay, yeah, you can see it's already starting to curve there. So maybe we start to fall, and we might even go we might even lose 760 and go negative for like negative 50, and then come out and then be positive in the 100 and 200 territory. So that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say we're gonna go from 760, and we're actually just gonna drop back down into, and might even go negative for the day, and then we're gonna go positive. And I think we close around 150 to 200 range, maybe even 300, up 150 to 300 range. But I think the afternoon, around lunchtime, I think we see a nice little fall there, and we might even see a fall in the crude oil as well, as the contracts expire tomorrow. But does anybody have places to put the barrels of oil? If not, they're gonna have to give it away for cheap. So we'll see how this all plays out. But this is exactly what happened last time, so I want to see if it plays out the same way or if this time it's different. So I guess we'll see. All right, so let's see what happens. That's it for me. I'm gonna put a clip in for the Fed's Jerome Powell and 60 Minutes. They're talking about negative interest rates. I'm gonna put the clip in now, and I'm also gonna play it on Patreon with my Intel videos later today. So I think that's gonna be cool. People can watch that as well, because a lot of people don't watch this, are not on this channel over here. So I'll play it over there as well on Patreon with my Intel videos today. So should be a great week. Starting off nicely here for the Dow for people who are in the markets. Okay, gold is now negative, or silver still nice, and what's his name? Bo Poloni was talking about on Greg Hunter's show. Silver is where you got to go. Silver is going to be used for innovation. We know that. Big Squares talked about that. How silver, people are going to be buying your silver for thousands of dollars so they can create innovations, technology. It's going to be used for technology like never before. So those who are buying up all the silver right now are going to be really rewarded, because the governments around around the world are going to need your silver. There's not a lot of silver out in the world. There's a lot of gold in the world, but there's not a lot of silver. So those who have silver and want to sell it so it can be melted down so that it can be used for technology purposes and robotic purposes and technology purposes are going to be able to make a lot of money. So, they might be able to sell their silver for, a lot more higher prices than what it's going for. All right, so I guess we'll see how that all plays out. But at some point, silver could be spot price $600, but the premium could be $3,000. Okay, $15,000 per ounce. Okay, so just because the spot price of silver, we're talking about silver being maybe $500 per ounce. That's just the spot price, okay? And we don't even know if the COMEX and all these things are going to be even around. How are we going to judge the price of silver if the COMEX and all these things are not even around anymore? It's going to be weird to see how this new system comes out. But that's just a spot price. That's not the premiums, okay? It's just like right now, silver is at $17.50 spot price, but can you buy silver at that price? No, you cannot. The premium, when you go to these exchanges and these silver outlets, you can't buy silver at $17 an ounce. You're going to be paying $25 to $40 an ounce for silver, okay, per ounce, okay. So when silver's at $500 spot price, God knows what the premium is going to be. Could be $15,000 for silver premium, and those people are going to be those people that loaded silver all these years are going to be very, very rewarded as they sell their silver back. For innovation purposes, and the new innovation robotic era that is coming. So, anyways, peace out. God bless. And hope you guys got your silver. I really don't have any gold. I have silver. Okay. And I've been buying silver. I buy silver all the time. So, so I'm gonna be making another order of silver sometime this week. Actually, maybe I think Friday I'm gonna be making another order silver. So, anyways, peace out. God bless. And here's a clip from the Feds. Bye. Eyes open.
In the early days of the crisis in this boardroom, you and the committee lowered interest rates essentially to zero. Would you lower them further into negative territory, which the president has suggested is a good idea?
Around this table during the last crisis and during the recovery, we looked at negative interest rates, and it's something we decided not to do. We used other tools instead. And those tools involved forward guidance about the federal funds rate and also lots of asset purchases, or quantitative easing, as it's often referred to. I continue to think, and my colleagues on the Federal Open Market Committee continue to think, that negative interest rates is probably not an appropriate or useful policy for us here in the United States.
And why not? The president seems to think it would help.
The evidence on whether it helps is quite mixed. The issue is people would be depositing money in the bank, and that money would be shrinking. They'd be paying interest to put their money in the bank. So it's not a particularly popular policy, as you can imagine. But in addition, it can also tend to depress the profitability of banks, which makes them likely to lend less, which weighs on economic growth. So I would just say it's not at all settled in in economic analysis that negative rates really add much value.
I think the idea of negative interest rates is something that a lot of people have a difficult time getting their head around. Would you explain it to me?
Well, rather than being paid interest on your cash, you pay interest to the bank. If you borrow money, they pay you to borrow money, and if you lend them money by putting it in a bank, then they pay you money.
So the banks would pay people to borrow money, essentially.
Yes.
And that would conceivably cause more business and commerce to happen.
It would, but this has been tried. We have negative policy rates in many countries around the world as a result of the financial crisis, and there's no clear finding that it actually does support economic activity on net, and it introduces distortions into the financial system, which I think offset that. So, there are plenty of people who think negative interest rates are a good policy, but we don't really think so at the Federal Reserve, and I think it's an area of real uncertainty in the central banking world.